This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. Hey guys, it's Big Paul here today, and I am going to do an off-season check-in. I haven't done one of these in a couple weeks. Holidays, a bunch of stuff going on. It's been a weird few weeks. I've had some shit happen, and I'll get into all that today. But long story short, injury, illness again. This off-season size blast has fucking sucked. I don't know another way to put it. I really have not progressed much. At least I don't feel like I have. So I am going to pull back and regroup and do a cruise for a bit. I'll talk to you about all of it and what my plans are, and we'll dig into all of it in just 1 second. All right, so the story. I'll dig into all that and tell you about that before I talk about my vitals. Last weekend, I had food poisoning, of all things, and it was my own dumbass fault. I like to live dangerously with the chicken breast sometimes. I had some chicken that had been in my refrigerator for a week. Maybe a little over a week. I smelled it. It smelled a little funky, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to eat it. I'll be fine. I've done it a million times. I do this with my food and on occasion, and I'm a moron for doing so, but I live dangerously when it comes to expiration dates. When it comes to eating food that's a little smelly, I just say fuck it and eat it anyway. I know it's dumb. I know it's idiotic. I am a cheapskate and I don't want to cook, or lazy and don't want to cook new food, but I ate the chicken and I paid the price for it. I was puking and shitting all weekend. It was miserable. I had a fever, chills, cramps. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital and get an IV for a bit, because as soon as I drank anything, I just vomited it back up or shit it back out. It was brutal. I haven't been that sick in a long time. I almost never get stomach bugs. This is the first time that I've had one in, 10 years? It's been a long time. So that's probably why I'm a little overconfident with eating some past expiration chicken, and I paid the price for it. But I lost 10, 12 pounds over the weekend from being sick. I was severely dehydrated. And I was already feeling, dejected or whatnot, because last week I was doing bench presses. I was doing incline Smith machine presses, which I haven't done in a long time. I generally stay away from barbell presses, period. And I thought to myself, the Smith machine will be safe. So I worked my way up to 315 for inclines, and I blasted out like 14, 15 reps with it. It felt super light. I used to be an incredibly strong presser when I was younger. At one point in time in my late 20s, early 30s, I was doing 405 for reps on inclines. So I've always been a really strong presser. So 315 I thought was pretty easy. I did my first set, I got like 14, 15 reps. Second set, got 12, I think. And then my chest got really tight. I felt a lot of tightness in my left pec. I probably should have stopped then and just moved on. But I was like, fuck it. I'll go on to the next set. Usually when something feels tight, that's a warning sign that you shouldn't keep going. I know better. I've been through this before. I know better. So my third set, the second rep, at the very bottom of the rep, I felt something pop in my pec insertion up by my shoulder. And it burned and it hurt immediately. And I was like, motherfucker, I ruptured my pec. That's the first thing that came to my head. Because anytime in the past, when I felt a popping sensation followed by a burn, it is not good. It usually means surgery. I've had more than my share of surgeries from doing stupid shit in the past. And I thought for sure this was going to be something bad. I got up, took a look at my pack in the mirror. There was no visible structural damage. There was no bruising, but it hurt. I couldn't even hardly move my arm. I couldn't raise my arm above my head. It was in a lot of pain. So it was something deep down inside. I laid off of it for the rest of the week, and there was no issues. And then I tried to do some light chest work on last Friday. I couldn't even do the bar. That hurt so bad. So fuck. And I went to the orthopedic after that just to get it checked out, and the orthopedic told me that it is likely, they can't really tell for 100% sure without doing an MRI, but they said he believed that it was a pec tendon sprain or strain. And he said I dodged a bullet. If I kept going, I probably would have ruptured it or torn it. So he told me 4 to 6 weeks recovery time. I'm going to hit it with some BPC 157, TB 500. When I've done that in the past, I've been able to cut those recovery times down by maybe like a third. So I'm hoping 2 or 3 weeks. It'll been almost 2 weeks today since I heard it. It is feeling better now. I am staying away from pec training, just doing some really light blood flow movement just to keep blood in the muscle, but I'm not doing anything to put any load on it. Needless to say, after being sick, after this, earlier in the off season, I had pneumonia and I had the fucking flu. The pneumonia knocked me out for like a month, and this entire I should have probably just pulled back to a cruise after I had the pneumonia. But I thought to myself, I'm just going to keep pushing and get through this, which I am a person who doesn't give up and keeps pushing, sometimes to my own detriment. Anyway, I probably should have pulled back then, but I didn't. But I'm going to do the smart thing now and pull back, because there's no sense in blasting gear when I am not able to train 100%. I don't see how I can progress. I essentially, you see my vitals here. My fasted weight was 265. My daytime weight's around 274. I hit 280 before it was in the 280s before I had pneumonia, and then I lost a bunch of weight when I had pneumonia. So essentially I ended this blast at the same size I started it, which is incredibly frustrating. So I don't know, 14 weeks, 3.5 months, something like that. I did get stronger. I don't know. I feel like I'm a little better conditioned. I don't know. It's hard to say, but last year I had that once in a lifetime off season where I just made incredible progress, and I guess it spoiled me and Roy made. I was thinking that shit, if I could just do 1/3 of that this year, that would be incredible. Well, I didn't even do 1% of it. So I'm incredibly frustrated. I am going to pull back. I'm not a person who gives up. I am very, very, very stubborn when it comes to that, and I keep grinding. But I am going to be intelligent about it. I'm going to pull back for a few weeks. And probably 6 to 8 weeks, let this heal, let my body have a break from the PED use, and just see where I'm at, and then do another push. I probably am going, I thought about originally doing Masters Nationals in July, but I don't see that being feasible now with everything. Also, I have a bunch of travel coming up for personal stuff, so doing contest prep when you're traveling is really, really difficult. So I'm going to find a late fall, probably winter show. As long as my health holds up, that is always a wild card that is in there. Health comes first. Health is more important than a show. But as long as my health holds up, I'm going to try to do a national show late this fall, maybe a winter show. So I should be able to squeeze in one more size push, and then a contest with a break in between, and then a contest prep. So that's my plan. Vitals, enough of all that shit. My vitals, like I said, 265, daytime weight 274, height 6'2". My blood pressure yesterday was 129/71. I've been posting my blood pressure readings on Instagram. I think people don't believe me about my blood pressure readings. They're like, how can it be that low running so much gear as you do? I'll tell you, it's from telmisartan. It's from doing cardio. It's from not eating like an asshole, all those things, and being smart about my gear use. I'm primarily on this blast was using Test and Primo. Test and Primo are both fairly gentle, and you can run relatively high doses of them without a lot of adverse effect. At least that's what I've seen. Fasted glucose was 97. Let's take a look at the progress pics. This is where I'm at right now. Essentially the same as where I started. I don't know. I'm not as lean as I was when I started. A little softer, but that's to be expected in the off season with pushing food. My food has not been as consistent as I would like it to be because of being sick. When I'm sick, I can't fucking eat. I just, that's the part that was incredibly frustrating about this off season is I could never get into a groove. Once you get into a routine and a groove and can be consistent with the diet week after week and your training week after week, then progress starts to happen. But if you have these spurts of 2 or 3 weeks of being able to eat consistently, be healthy, and train at 100% intensity, and then you have a couple weeks where you can't, and then a couple weeks where you can, and a couple weeks where you can't, it's hard to get any momentum and make any progress. But you can see here, I still have, from the front, I still have visible abs, which is always my rule in the off season. If I can't see my abs, I've gotten too fat. On this cruise, I'm probably going to ramp up my cardio a bit and tighten up, cut my food back, possibly. I'll leave that up to Justin. I'll leave that in his hands and let him make the judgment call on that. But for me, that's what I think it makes the most sense. To resensitize, get my my insulin sensitivity back in check, and to get ready for another push. Here's from the back. You can see in the back is where I carry my fat. My lower back, I have a little bit of fat. Just a little bit of hangover there on my underwear. Diet. This is the old diet. This is going to change. I was doing 3 high days a week. I'm usually on the cruise. We pull back to 1 high day a week. I don't know if much else is going to change besides that, but usually you pull back to 1 high day per week. The current PEDs, people never believe me when I tell them this, but I am able to hold my weight, and I've always been able to hold my weight on just 250 tests. Now, I think what helps there, I've had multiple people reach out to me, is to keep some other stuff in there. A little bit of GH, and a little bit of Lantus. People say, oh my God, 25 units of Lantus, it's a lot of Lantus. That's what the website says that is the appropriate dose for my weight. And it's a 24-hour insulin. It doesn't exactly run 24 hours, but it peaks. It doesn't have like a high peak like a rapid acting insulin does. So you think about 25 units over a 25-hour period of time. It's like a unit per hour, really. So I don't know. I will say this. Before I got sick, before I had the food poisoning, I had taken a Lantus shot the night before, and about halfway through the next day, when I was vomiting and had diarrhea, I couldn't eat anything. I did start to get hypo from that. Nothing crazy, but my glucose levels were down in the low 60s, so I didn't know what to do. I just sucked on a glucose tab, which made me sick again, but that seemed to fix things. Health supplements. Currently, my current health supplement routine is 1,500 milligrams of berberine per day. I use Suppressor from First Detachment Nutrition, which is their glucose modulator. General health, I take a whole food multivitamin. Pick one up on Amazon. Vitamin C, 5,000 units of vitamin D. I may dial that back. My vitamin D levels were at the top end on my last blood work. Cardiovascular health, I do 3,000 milligrams of fish oil, CoQ10, niacin. I think it's 500 milligrams of niacin. I use a citrus bergamot. I think it's 2,000 milligrams per day. It's the low-dose aspirin. I call it baby aspirin, but the low-dose aspirin, I don't remember what it is. It's like 87.5 milligrams or something like that. All this for heart health and to prevent clotting. Liver health, I use Tucka, milk thistle, and NAC. The product that I use is QRF from First Detachment Nutrition. For kidney health, I use a combination of things. Usually I tell my clients to use astragalus but I use a product from First Detachment Nutrition called Renal Reset. I have it misspelled here, Renal Assist. I don't know why in my head it's Renal Assist, but I apologize to the First Detachment guys. It's Renal Reset. RX meds. Currently, I am using 1,500 milligrams of metformin per day. Actually, I lowered that to 1,000 milligrams of metformin per day. That also helps with you during the cruise. Helps keep your body composition in check. Helps with your glucose sensitivity. Helps with nutrient uptake. I will say this: if you continue to eat, you continue to train hard, you don't need a ton of androgens to maintain during a cruise phase. I'm kind of getting off track here, but if you think about it, tissue is really hard to lose if you're eating food. If you're maintaining your food and you have growth hormone in the mix as well as some insulin. Now, with the lowering of the exogenous androgens, you will probably lose some hardness and some strength motivation. But keep in mind that loss of strength doesn't necessarily translate to loss of tissue. It's just a neurological thing. You're losing the neurological drive from all the exogenous androgens that you're using. Pantoprazole for acid reflux. Everybody freaks out about pantoprazole, which just blows my mind. I've seen multiple people that I know, of, that have had esophageal cancer from uncontrolled acid reflux. And trust me, that is a horrible way to fucking die. You don't want to do that. So taking a little pantoprazole is better for you than having esophageal cancer if you have fucking acid reflux. I don't know why bodybuilders, also the same thing with the telmisartan. I take 80 milligrams of telmisartan a day for my blood pressure. Bodybuilders will take bathtub tren made in Guadalajara, not think twice about it, but then they freak out about taking a blood pressure med and a medicine for their acid reflux. It makes zero sense to me. These are well-researched, well-studied. The drugs that have been on the market for years have a high safety profile, and you're concerned about that, but you're not worried about your bathtub trend. Makes no sense to me. Also, with the metformin, another thing that guys freak out about is oh my God, I'm not going to be able to grow taking metformin. I had the best growth of my life last year taking metformin. There's that whole study that shows reduction in IGF-1 levels from metformin. Keep in mind that study was done on guys that were not taking growth hormone, insulin, and exogenous androgens. They were just regular fucking people. So I'm not sure how you can translate that to our cohort. All right, training. Right now, when I am on cruise, people ask me what I do for cruise. On my training program, if you have gotten a copy of my training program, you can actually download it from my website for free. My high volume training program. I usually do week 3 and just kind of maintain that through my cruise phase. It works out for me. It's somewhere between my minimum effective volume and maximum recoverable volume, which I find my minimum effective volume to be somewhere around, I don't know, 8 to 10 sets per week per body part. It's different for body part, and my maximum recoverable volume, depending on the body part, is somewhere between 18 and 25 sets per week. My shoulders, I seem to be able to just blitz with unreal amounts of volume, and they don't seem to be affected. Whereas other body parts, like hamstrings, it doesn't take much to stimulate my hamstrings, and then I can't walk for days. So, ballpark figure, I'm doing somewhere between 12 to 15 sets per week. So something like 6 to 7, 6 to 8 working sets per body part per workout. Because I train everything twice a week when I push-pull legs routine. Cardio right now is 15 minutes of HIIT 3 times per week. I am likely going to increase that to try to tighten up a little bit and help with insulin sensitivity. Plans and thoughts. Just disregard this part because I didn't update it. But right now, it's just to get healthy, let my pec recover, let my body have a break from the exogenous androgens and anabolics. I pull those down and just get ready for another push. It's really that simple. That's all I'm doing right now. All right, guys. I appreciate you watching. Take care. For coaching or consultations, head over to www.anabolicbodybuilding.com to book your spot today. I can help you with optimizing hormones, fat loss, muscle gain, physique, athletic performance, nutrition, and health. For more information, shoot me an email at bigp3rd@gmail.com.